These drinks aren't just cocktails. They're a taste of American history. Hey guys, Tom here. Welcome back to the Underground. With America celebrating its 250th anniversary, we thought it would be a cool idea to celebrate a couple of drinks that are really true American classics. These drinks have been enjoyed for generations and they date back pretty far according to the research I had. So I thought it would be fun to make up these drinks. I'm only going to do two because I want to talk about some of the history involved in the drinks, and then we'll make them, try them, and see if they were really everything that they were thought to be back way back in the day, in the infancy of this great nation of ours. So grab a drink, hang out at the bar. Hope you have some fun with us today as we celebrate really two true American classic legends. Now, when you think about American drinks, and when I was looking into this, there's a lot of drinks that are truly American. I mean, you got things like the Old Fashioned, the Mint Julep, Sazerac, Toddy's, what else is American? Sours, all things like that. We've made them all, especially if you remember way back at the classic cocktail class. These are all classic cocktails, American, but we've made them before, and I wanted to do something different. So I looked to see if I could find some truly American historical drinks that date back to the birth of our nation. And I found what I think are two. And they both have good histories. And rather than try to memorize this all, I'm just going to read you some stuff and go over like my notes. And the first one that we're going to do is called a Philadelphia Fish House Punch. Now this dates back to, I think it dates back to like the I have it written down here somewhere. The 17, I think it's like the 1730s, possibly. And it came from, it's got a real cool story because if you think of the birth of this nation with the Revolution, this drink kind of was inspired by another revolution of its own. And what happened was, there was a place called the Schuylkill Fish Company of Pennsylvania. Now, Schuylkill, it's a Philadelphia word. It's spelled Schuyllkill, but it's pronounced, if you watch videos, people butcher this word all the time. It's a Philly word. It's pronounced Schuylkill, like Schuylkill. And what happened was, the club is in 1732, and what happened was they decided that they were going to declare their excuse me one second. They were going to declare their own independence. So what happened was they declared themselves a sovereign state, and the members called themselves citizens of a tiny nation of anglers and cocktail aficionados, and they called it the state of Schuylkill. And they had this, it was a punch that was made in big bowls, and it was actually said to be a favorite of a lot of people like George Washington and the Marquis de Lafayette, and even later on like President Chester Arthur. And it combines a lot of things. And further, if you are a cocktail aficionado, there's a book called Imbibe by a cocktail historian. His name is David Wondrich. And he is so impressed by this drink that he said the Fish House Punch should be made a mandatory part of every 4th of July. Which, so we'll see. We're going to make it, and I'm going to make, although this is basically, this was served in a big giant, punch bowl, and it had a big giant block of ice in it, and the ice would melt and dilute the drink. But there is one special ingredient that is called for in this drink. And that ingredient is this right here. This is called lemon shrub. And what lemon shrub is you get if you're gonna make the punch, you get a boatload of lemons, like 16 lemons. And you take the rind off all these lemons. And what you do is then you get a bunch of sugar. Now, like if you were making a big giant vat of lemon shrub, you would get, well, I'll put it I always put it in the description. A bunch of sugar, and you grind it all up together, not too much because you don't want it to be too bitter. And then you let it macerate. And what happens is the oils, I think they're oleosaccharides, I think they're called. They come out of the lemon peel and they make this stuff. And then you add the juice from all those lemons. And then you let it sit for a while. The longer you let it sit, the better. And then you strain it and you get this stuff that's called lemon shrub. But if you don't have like days and days to make this, you can expedite it the way I did. I zested one lemon, put about a tablespoon and a half of sugar in it. I got my muddler, went in there after it, let it sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then I added the juice, let it sit some more, strained it, and you have lemon shrub. So let's make that Philadelphia Fish House punch. And it's really quite simple. I mean, aside from the lemon shrub, you should have everything. And it really starts with some Jamaican rum. Now, back in those days, because of, unfortunately, the slave trade and the trade triangle that existed, I think it was slaves, rum, and something else. I forget what it was. But there was a lot of rum back in the colonial times. So that's why they used rum, in addition to some other things. So I'm going to use rum, Jamaican rum, whatever, whether it's, I happen to have Myers. You could use, what's the other one? Oh crap! I can't think of the other one. Oh, Mount Gay. You could use that. Would be fine. And then, because of our European influence, if I can find it, you need some cognac. I don't have any cognac, but I have brandy. So that was 1.5 ounces of rum, and then I need 3/4 of some brandy or cognac, whatever you have. And then here's the other thing that might be a little specialty, some peach brandy. It smells very peachy. And then I need only 1/2 ounce of that. And then if you have some peach liqueur, I don't know if I have any peach liqueur. I have something in here that's peach, but I don't know if it's liqueur or not. This is schnapps. So I'll just use my regular peach schnapps if I can find it. Just a wee splash, and peach schnapps is very, very assertive. So we're just going to put that little bit in, and then we need our lemon shrub. I need 1.25 ounces of my lemon shrub. So with all that sugar in there, as you can imagine, this is probably going to be pretty sweet. And then some ice. So now before I put the ice in there, start diluting that. I'm going to read you the way it says to make it. So this, rather say, okay, no, that's for the lemon shrub. Chill all the ingredients in spirits in the freezer. When you serve, combine everything in a punch bowl. preferably over 1 large ice cube. Otherwise, add about 2 more cups of ice and briefly combine. So that's for the punch. But if you're making just one drink, it's just chill and train. But there's I found other information about this drink. So let me see. The Fish House Punch is said to have originated with the state of Schuylkill, like I previously discussed, which was a fish and rod and gun club, blah, blah, blah. It served in they said, legends have it that it was served in a bowl large enough to baptize a baby in. This was an illustrious club that thought to be, over the years, hosted no less than, like I said, George Washington, Marquis de Lafayette, Chester Arthur. The Fish House Punch began to make more sense when thought of the drink as a way to preserve the lemons itself, because back in the day, obviously, there was no refrigeration or whatnot. And as citrus got its boost in affordability and availability in the 1800s, first because of the acquisition of formerly Spanish territories, then the building of the railroads in fruit and to distribute fruits from like areas in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia and Baltimore. Now there was another thing. Okay, recipes for the Fish House Punch began to appear in regional papers in the 1860s. In 1898, the Baltimore Sun praised the selection of beverage recipes found in Mrs. Charles Marshall's Confederate Relief Cookbook, Recipes Old and New. The Sun informed readers that in the book they would find recipes for eggnog, cherry bounce, Confederate punch, Roman punch, and a difficult to obtain formula for Philadelphia Fish House Punch. Now, in that recipe, which will actually let me mix this one up, and then we'll talk about the rest of that, because that's very interesting. Now this is, I would say, I mean, I'm not going to shake it. Yeah, I will shake it, I guess. Because that's kind of what we do around here. Now this says to strain it into a chilled coupe. I'm not going to do that because I think that would defeat the purpose of the punch part of it with all the ice. So I'm just gonna dirty ice it right into this glass here. And I'm actually gonna add some more ice because I think as we're doing the other things, the dilution of the ice will kind of benefit this drink before we get to taste it. And there is our first drink of American history, the Philadelphia Fish House Punch. All right, next up, now this one is an interesting story because I actually like this story more than the Philadelphia Fish House Punch, because quite frankly, that type of behavior where a bunch of freaking guys getting drunk at their club and coming up with crazy ideas has been going on to this day. So that is as much of an American tradition as them inventing a drink. That was kind of like Philadelphia Fish. Say that 5 times fast. Philadelphia Fish House Punch was really kind of almost like the original, hey, hold my beer kind of moment. They're like, yeah, this drink is great. Hey, I got an idea. Let's set up our own country. You know, but it's fun. But this one, and this drink is again a colonial era drink, maybe not as old as the Fish House because that was 1732, I think we said, right? This one is from colonial New England as opposed to Philadelphia. It's called the Stone Fence. Now this was drunk by farmers and soldiers during the Revolution. And here's the cool thing about this drink. This is said, the story, whether it's true or not, but it's a cool story. There's a famous story about a raid. And what happened was, famous revolutionary guys like Ethan Allen, you know, the furniture guy, and Benedict Arnold, of all people, were hanging out at the pub drinking these stone fence drinks. They got all hammered up, and then the next day they went out and captured Fort Ticonderoga. So if you believe that, I mean, to me, that's pretty cool. A bunch of drunks going out, say, hey, you get all hammered up, like, okay, time for the war. So fortunately, I've never had to fight in a war, but as a guy who appreciates soldiers as a veteran, that is a cool story. So, according to history books, prior to raiding of Fort Ticonderoga at the beginning of the Revolutionary War in 1775, Ethan Allen and his Green Mountain Boys knocked back several of these drinks known as a stone fence. And then something happened. They got, oh, excuse me, next page, more stories. Before raiding Fort Ticonderoga, they were at a place called the Remington Tavern in Castleton. And then when they got back, they got to the fort and only found like the guards were all falling asleep on duty. They stormed the officers' quarters, demanding that they surrender in the name of the Great Jehovah and the Continental Congress. They didn't offer much resistance, and Fort Ticonderoga was seized. So this is a very simple drink. It's 2 ingredients, rum and cider. Now, there's a lot of ways you can go. Traditionally, oh God. Oh, that was close. I almost think I didn't have it. Now, is it sweet cider? Is it hard cider? Is it still cider? Is it sparkling cider? My guess back then would have been hard still cider. We're going to make it with hard cider. I don't know if this is sparkling or not. Now, it also, they probably would not have drunk it on ice because there probably wasn't ice back then, except for whatever you could get. I don't know how they made ice back then. How did they make ice back then? They just get it off of frozen stuff? Because there was no refrigeration. Oh, that's interesting. I have to look into that. I would think it was, oh no, I'm sorry. Back then it was rum, but as the drink, it was just rum and cider. But as the drink progressed, it became, there was more variants where you could use rum, you could use rye, you could use bourbon, you could use brandy. We're going to use rum. We're going to use a gold rum this time. And again, it's going to be a Caribbean. Well, I mean, most good rums are Caribbean because that's where the rum would have came from on the triangle trade. And then that's it. Rum and cider. Now, in an homage to the evolution of the drink, I am just going to put one little dash of bitters, Angostura bitters. It specifically said Angostura bitters. And then your favorite cider. This happens to be some sparkling. And that's all they would do. If you wanted, you could garnish it with a sprig of mint. Oh shit, I didn't want to do that. But you don't have to. And there's our second drink. Simple as that. Rum and hard cider, known as the Stone Fence. All right, gang. So there are our 2 drinks, well, 2/3 drinks, as we help celebrate anyway, the history of America in a cocktail glass as we move on to America 250, 4th of July here coming up. I'm really looking forward to these because, like I said, I like to learn about the history of cocktails and such, and to see how they taste, and to see if our founding fathers had it right back in the day. So without further ado, actually with further ado, because I want to remind you that if this kind of thing is stuff that you like, be sure to subscribe to The Underground. Come hang out with us time and time again as we do things like this and have all kinds of other fun here at the bar down in the basement. And be sure to like and share this show and this video with all your cocktail enthusiast friends so we can continue to grow and bring more good things and fun stuff and enjoy some drinks and cocktails and good times with you for a long time to come. So now let's get into it with ready, drink. I'm going to try this one first. This is the original Fish House Punch with that lemon shrub concoction of the peels and the sugar and the... So this has rum, Jamaican rum, cognac, peach brandy, and the lemon shrub. Now remember, this would be in a big giant vat with a big block of ice to help water it down. Cheers to America 250 and all things that we do here to celebrate. I like it. Jamaican rum definitely has a flavor, especially the Myers. Certainly lemon. The peach is really indiscriminate in here. I don't know that it really adds much, to be honest with you. I guess it would depend, again, on your peach brandy. But I mean, it's good otherwise. Has a nice aroma too. Excuse me. Maybe it's because of the way I made my lemon shrub that I had to muddle and stuff. I didn't really have any of the white of the lemon in there, but still, maybe because I was agitating, muddling the lemon and what. I do get a slight little bit of bitterness from that lemon. So maybe if you had the time to just get your lemon rind and sugar, just mix it up, let it macerate for a few days, mixing it now and again, you wouldn't get all that bitterness. But that's a nice drink. I could see how they would drink a bunch of these and then decide to become their own country or state. So let's try this version from the 1800s with the tea and the nutmeg garnish. Again, cheers. Nutmeg doesn't do anything. The tea definitely does something. That, when I say it's better, no. When I say it's different, yes. They're equally both delightful, and I would be happy to drink either one of them at any revolutionary party as we overthrow anybody on the Schuylkill River. This is really nice. They're both good. You have to like lemon. And you have to, you definitely get the tea. I guess, again, that's another one that would depend on how long you steep your tea. So let's get into this one, the stone fence. We'll have a couple of these and then we'll go storm a fort. Just too simple, rum and cider. Lovely. Now, of all of these, this one will most certainly be dependent upon the rum and cider combination that you use. This is this? That's me. That cider is not real dry and it's not real sweet. I've used a real sweet cider or even a not hard cider, and then depending on, there's all kind of variations of rum. Excuse me, our normal symphony of my stomach. But it's nice. But you could even put the mint down in there, I guess. If you're going to garnish it, you might as well put it in there, right? I think if I was going to drink just one of these, I think I would drink the one with the tea in it. I'm a nice tea drinker, so this kind of reminds me of an Arnold Palmer. Again, the peach is very subtle, but it's very much a supporting player and not a feature player in this drink. But kudos to the revolutionaries who came up with this. It's a very nice concoction. They did well when they brought this to the banks of the Schuylkill River way back in the day. So whether you're hosting 4th of July, going to 4th of July, or you need something just to bring out the revolutionary in you, any one of these would be great, and a great option for you to share with your family and friends this America 250 celebration season. So come back and hang out with us again, and we'll have more fun stuff like this. You know, comment down below what you think of these revolutionary patriotic cocktails, and come back and see us again and again. And until then, remember, I will save a seat at the bar for you. We'll have some cocktails, storm the fort, and have a good time. And until then, cheers.